Over the last 25 years, I've had the privilege of interviewing and highlighting some truly interesting people. I mean, everyone who is anyone, both the famous and the infamous. From presidents and their first ladies to kings and queens, movies, stars and pop stars, captains of industry, heads of state, sports personalities, innovative entrepreneurs, and some pretty fascinating everyday people. Today, I'm actually proud to introduce you to William Rorick, an award winning historical portrait artist who has found success in the creative arts. Bill, it's such a pleasure to talk with you today. This is an area of expertise that I'm not familiar with, so this gives me an opportunity to be a student today. I see you're a historical portrait artist, but this was not your original calling. So, how did you become involved in that area of creative pursuit?
Well, I was born to do that. I think it took me most of my life to figure it out. I had the influence of my dad, and when I was a kid, he was very strong on his insurance business and hoped that I would go into it. So, so I was diverted by that, and I was still doing a little art on the side. And after I retired in '96, it all started coming out. 1996. From then on, it was full time.
So, Bill, as a historical portrait artist, how do you select your subjects?
Well, they have to be deceased and famous. And I like history, and I go back to late 1800s, early 1900s. Of course, the camera, I work from black and white photos, and off the internet, I get those. And then I create the color myself. And they all wore black back then, or gray suits and stuff like that. And so it's not hard to create the color.
So, out of all of your works, which paintings would you say are you most proud of? And I know that's like asking a parent to pick a child, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Oh, I think all of them. That's the only answer I can come up with. But I think Abraham Lincoln maybe might have been my favorite. That's now in a museum up in Saratoga Springs, New York State. And as well as another one, Abner Doubleday, is there in that New York State Military Museum. If I have to pick one, I would think maybe Abraham Lincoln, maybe.
So, I'm just curious, what kind of training does a historical portrait artist actually have to have for anybody that may be out there interested in doing the kind of work you're doing?
Well, I think you can do it yourself. I mean, I've had a lot of art classes, portrait classes over the years, and I just created my own method and work from that. I mean, I start with a drawing, and then I do a black underpainting, they call it, ivory black and turpentine. Let that dry, and then I simply and then I add the color on top, and that's my procedure.
You make it sound so simple, and I know it's far more complicated than that. So I know that the Abraham Lincoln portrait is in fact displayed in a museum. Any of your other work displayed in museums?
Let's see. Right now, I'm working on Longfellow, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, at the Wayside Inn in up in Sudbury, Massachusetts. I just recently started to uh, try to put these portraits. I have 23 of them, and I need to find homes for them now. And so, if you know of any places, let me know. But Longfellow is my current project to get him placed in the Wayside Inn in Massachusetts.
Sounds like a showing of your portraits as in your future. Um, so, because I know that you've actually been painting some classical composers. So, did you think that your prior work as a music librarian may have influenced your decision to paint the classical composers?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I have a educational background in music history, and to be a music librarian, they often require a master's in music history, and then MLS, a Master of Library Science, on top of that to be a music librarian. And yeah, I majored in music history and got a master's in music history. And I don't know, it's all come together now, doing what I love really with the portrait painting.
And let's talk a little bit about some of the awards you've received. As I've been reading over your resume, why don't you share that with the audience?
Yeah, well, Allied Artists is one, Academic Artists of America is another one, and then the Hudson Valley Art Association. I think those are the three big ones that I've gotten. I've been in their shows and received awards and so on. And but right now, I haven't been doing much showing in museums because of the virus.
The pandemic has really forced us all to look at different and unique ways of doing our passion. My fundraising has gone to virtual for philanthropic causes that I care about. My work as a journalist and a host has gone online, and so something tells me you may have to do some online showings, sir.
Yeah, I'm aware of that certainly, and I think that I'm going to have to start doing that rather than showing in the actual locations.
Absolutely.
I don't know how much longer it's going to go on like that, but I mean, it's very frustrating to say the least.
Well, we'll pray that it is coming to a new normal sooner rather than later. Bill, where do you see your work progressing at this point?
Oh, well, I'm branching out from the composers now. I started with the composers because that was my background and education and so on. And but now I've done a portrait of Ulysses S. Grant in the history range, and then also I've done one of I'm working on Longfellow now,
Hmm.
and I can't think of the other one I recently did. But Longfellow and Grant, and I can't think of the other one. But that's I'm working on one now of Mary Baker Eddy. She was the founder of the Christian Science Church.
Okay.
Yeah, she's born in 1821 and she died in 1910. And I have a great photograph of her, in a black satin dress. And she's very famous that way. And what I want to do is offer it to the Christian Science Church up in Boston,
Oh,
see if they might accept it. They're all donations. I'm not trying to sell anything at this point.
fantastic. Fantastic. Well, as we come to an end, sir, I'd love to give you the opportunity to share with us the one thing you'd like the viewer of this video feature to walk away with today.
Yeah, well, as I said, keep checking my website if they would, williamrorick.com, and enjoy. And I enjoy bringing these famous people back to life. These portraits are life-size heads, about 9 inches or so high, and they're very realistically painted. I don't know. I just love history, and I love to bring these people back to life as much as possible. And so that's my feeling about it. And I'll continue to do it. Like Mark Twain, I want to start him. He had a house here in Hartford, and that it might be that I could they would accept my Mark Twain portrait, hopefully. And but yeah, I mean, just keep checking my website and enjoy, and that's all I can say about that. Yeah.
Well, I wish you the very best of luck with your passion, and I thank you for sharing it with us. And I hope to see more William Rorick paintings in my future. Thank you again.
Thank you, Star. Great talking to you.